Hi, my name is Chanel Nessman, and today I will be discussing the professional dispositions of learners and how those reflect from me. First, I think that being a person that has a high respect for diversity is something that will make me a more successful teacher. So as far as the professional dispositions go, I think I do have a sense of high expectation. I do expect that my students in the future will be able to learn from me and they will be able to be successful. I also know that I do in my everyday practice try to practice for myself fairness with others and understanding that there are many different people from many different walks of life, and that I will always constantly be presented with diversity. And that is something that I'm very comfortable with and something that I appreciate. So from my past experience and work experience, I've always worked in a very highly diverse area, and it's something that I feel very comfortable in, and I look forward to doing that with my students. I also appreciate curiosity and accept that, and definitely want my students to feel comfortable asking questions and being curious, because that is how we learn. And then always being honest with my students. Honesty, children, students, young and small, and older, not just children, appreciate when you can be honest with them whenever it comes to anything, whether that's school or even outside of the school setting. And I also have a great respect for professional conduct. So that's representing yourself in the best way possible and being a person that your students know is consistent in their behavior because you're showing up every day for them. So the disposition that I think that I will have to work the most on, I think will be definitely the reflection. So since I have not had the opportunity to work in the professional setting, reflection will be something brand new to me. But I plan on using that annual review, the data that I collect from my students, whether that be daily, weekly, monthly, and however the grading system, whether that's quarterly or semesters or trimesters, evaluating that for myself, to use that data to reflect, revise, and hopefully implement something better in those areas that I'm falling short in. I do want to use also the same information to continue in my strengths. So that way I know that I am continuing and not falling off somewhere else that was strong. And next, the ability to understand those that are different, I think is so important. Specifically, when teaching in an area that might be more diverse, I want to make sure that there's no potential for bias, because when you're biased against something, then that's based around exclusion because you have a prejudice towards something else. And I don't want any of my students or their families to ever feel that way from me. So that is something that could be dangerous for the classroom. I plan to use as much as I can moments of teaching to be consistent and compassionate towards my students that are different, and share those differences and praise them in the classroom, so that way they feel empowered and my other students feel empowered because they have just learned something that they didn't know, and that they can learn to appreciate different ways of doing things or different ways that people are raised. And then obviously, creating a positive culture in the classroom is very important for me, and I want to make sure that I emulate that for all of my students. And when their families come in to see me and I speak with them, I want them to know that that's what's happening here. Thank you. And last but not least, I want to add that I plan to use those reviews and the information from my annual reviews to better help my students for that following whatever period of time that is, whether that's the new school year or starting in the middle of the year, depending on when that happens. Most likely at the beginning of the school year, and then continuing that practice and constantly taking on the objective that I'm going to continue to learn as I grow as a teacher. Thank you.